The Stig, episode 5. Come on, let me take you on a trip somewhere exotic, and you can squirt white stuff all over me and rub it in under the sun. Don't you want to do that with me? For sure. Ooh, let me triangulate you with someone you can't afford to go. Oh yeah, baby. Do you like that malign triangulation? Stick me right there. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, and welcome to another episode of The Stig, where, wild man that I am, I take a walk in the archives of the now defunct blog The Tig. Following through chronologically from the past, drawing closer to when it ended, the first item that pops up is something from the video archives. Today we're going to have to skip over that. Yes, contain yourself there at the back. I know that this is a particularly upsetting experience for you. I'd offer counselling, but quite simply, buying an audio consultation and talking to me for an hour is far more effective. So get yourself to the Knowledge Vault and get consulted up with your glorious narrator. We'll return to the faff that is contained in the video on another occasion. But what is this? Is it more for Sean? Maybe it's some more cookery-fuckery. No, it's travel time. Yes, where is our jet-setting blog writer off to this time? There's only one way to find out. This was published on the 27th of March 2015. When asked to go to Malta to not only discover the beautiful island, but also the land from which my great-grandmother hailed, I said yes without hesitation. "It's Malta!" exclamation mark. A beautiful jewel of an island dotted in the Mediterranean between Sicily, Tunisia, and Libya. A dream for one who relishes his culture and history set against a backdrop of the ever-so-beautiful sea. Well, funny enough, islands do tend to have the backdrop of the sea, but there we are. Beyond being rich in history, the food and wine scene of Malta is one to write home about. While I wasn't there in the summer, I'm told the beaches are absolutely spectacular as well. Is that okay for you there, Mr. Tourist Board Man? Thought so. Which means I will have to go back if, Mr. Tourist Board Man, you'll pay for my flight. You know, for very important researches, semicolon, parentheses. I think that's winking smile in the parlance of the emoji. Please enjoy my 3-day guide to the most breathtaking trip in the most remarkable place. It felt like home, so much so, I had to leave again. Yes, lots of places feel like home to you, don't they? Nottingham Cottage, then I'll piss off to Canada and California. Everything feels like home. Do you live on an island? I'd say that the United States is part of a continent, my dear, rather than being an island. Anyway, let's find out what our intrepid explorer has to write about Malta. She starts with somewhere called Valletta. And coming up on your screen is a replication of the photographs that were found on the blog. So first of all, we can see Harry's wife supping on some red wine in a crowded restaurant. Lots of people clamouring to see her there. Then she's walking along some rocks, holding the top of her head. Maybe she'd gone baldy and her wig was about to blow off. Then we see her again in another restaurant where she's so popular it's absolutely teeming with people. And then there is a picture of some water, which is rather unusual to find on an island. But what does she have to write about Valletta? Check into the absolutely perfect boutique hotel, Casa Elui, or Elui, plug, a converted home, which has 8 bespoke rooms, each of perfect modernized tradition. Modernized tradition, okay. Think Calvin Klein meets Game of Thrones. That just says to me spiky underpants. Chic interiors and styling within a castle-like exterior. 3-story suites with their own private rooftop deck and hot tub makes this property one of my favourite worldwide, until the next one I visit, which I'll have to call my favourite and say it feels like home. Plus, there's an incredible wine bar downstairs, only a stone's throw, apostrophe missed out, to town centre, making it the perfect pied-à-terre for your stay. Explore the town of Valletta with its hilly cobblestone streets. Have a drink on Straight Street with original bars. Original bars? As opposed to what? Copied bars? Fake bars? Snide bars that dodgy guy in the North Face jacket sold you behind the market stall? What's an original bar? And signing intact. And make a stop at John's Co-Cathedral, where the walls are gilded in 24-carat gold and Caravaggio's only sign painting hangs. It took my breath away. Truly, madly, deeply. Again, purloining phrases from elsewhere. A Tig moment of understanding the power of art. I'm sure Caravaggio is thinking, thank goodness I've had my work appraised by this vacuous clown. But wait, what's this? We have yet more, and this time she's onto somewhere called Gozo, which sounds a little bit like Goso, doesn't it? If only she would get out and stay out of our lives. And you will now see on your screens the relevant pictures, which looks like somebody holding a wheel of cheese, doesn't it? Some local artisan, as though he's about to jump off and fall into oblivion. Then there's another picture of the sea, which again is an unusual find on an island. Then some fish-based, I think, food. I think I'd pass on that myself. Looks like the roof has fallen into a dish. And then finally, a moped outside 2 green doors. I wonder if Shakin' Stevens is inside. Well, this is Gozo, apparently. So let's find out what she has to write about Gozo. Just a 20-minute ferry ride from Malta, this tiny Maltese island off the coast didn't even get traffic lights until 1990. The population is under 50,000, and it's such a tight-knit community that residents leave their keys in the doors. Head here to burglarise at will. Head here for the fresh goat's milk, apostrophe missing again, Gozo cheese, prickly pear jam, and wild thyme honey. Isn't that what you offer? You're a wild thyme honey, as well as the local wines. The Vermentino will stand out. Make sure you visit the working public laundrette. Why? I'm going to stay in a hotel. Last thing I'm going to do is wander down and go, oh, hello, would you mind washing my smalls for me while I'm here? Where local women wash the laundry in fresh water. Oh, I always thought it was advantageous to wash things in dirty sewage, to be quite frank. Just give it that, I don't know, a certain je ne sais quoi. And lay it on the stones to dry. Swing by the azure window, a breathtaking scenic landmark where the sea and cliffs create the most jaw-dropping picture op. Mosey on. Mosey. Do you Americans use that? That seems to me to be a British term, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong about that. Mosey on over to Il Cartel for a lunch of whole sea bream and traditional Gozoan starters, coupled with the best hospitality from owner Philip, who I noshed off to get 70% off my bill. His family owns an agriturismo on the island, and the quality and freshness of his food reflected. Bring back a jar of sun-fried tomato paste as a souvenir. No. You'll be thrilled to know that we're only halfway through the tour of Malta, as so beautifully described by Harry's wife. Next one to Dingley, which really sounds like something to do with Harry's pink pods, isn't it? She describes, and you can see that there are some pictures of Dingley provided where Harry's wife is in the store. I think she's saying, do you mind if I steal some of these things? I'll promise I'll give you a good write-up in my blog. And then there's a picture in a cafe with some locals have evidently been playing Scrabble or such like, leaving letters on the wall. And what does she tell us about Dingley? Stop here for sweeping views of the city and an epic farm-to-table lunch. Basically, the chef executes the lamb right in front of you as you get to hear its last squealing and the blood bubbling from its throat before he slams it into a pan for you, with traditional Maltese fare such as spaghetti with rabbit, and a stunning mezza plate at Dr. Elbriet. Part larder, part restaurant. It's Malta's Jones on third. What? This could be the ultimate compliment from this California girl foodie. Or rather, they're thinking, no idea who you are and stop patronising us. Plus, Dr. Elbriet has its own backyard garden used for foraging the ingredients. Fantastic. Cat piss covered thyme. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, look at this, some rosemary next to the dog shit. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Or as the Maltese would say, grazie hafna, an ode to the Italian and Arabic influence in their language. Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, as we move into the home straight, it's almost time to leave the beautiful island of Malta, and it is a beautiful island. It's just unfortunate they've had to be subjected to the dross of Harry's wife describing it. But it looks like things are going to end on an exciting note, because according to the place that we're headed to next, it's time to get absolutely mashed and off our tits. Yes, we're off to MDMA. Wow. Time to get mollied up, I guess. Oh, no, Medina. My fault. Misread it. So we're going to Medina. Before heading to this walled city, make it a point to stop at Meridiana Winery, a former airfield-turned winery, owned by the Antinori family, the makers of my namesake, Tignanello. Have a beautiful tasting with Carl, oh yes, who oversees the property, and bring a couple of bottles home, as they are hard to find outside of Malta, and worth it. Continuing to Medina, a precious little town with less than 300 inhabitants, walk through museums and cute shops without paying, and end your day with dinner at Relais and Chateaux de Mondion. Think white tablecloths, a view of the full moon, and perfectly plated fine dining with a nod to local flavors. Make sure you explore the island by car, taking in all of the carob trees. Well, every single one of them. Is that what we have to do? How extraordinary. The 365 plus churches, the beaches, the fresh sea urchin, the view from the harbour, and reserved but welcoming hospitality of the Maltese. Eat pastisi for breakfast, flaky pastry, stuffed with peas or ricotta. Sounds like a slightly more exotic Greg's pasty to me. Take a nap in the beautiful countryside, indulge in art and culture, have a cooking class with Pippa Mattel at her home, drink limoncello, and eat yourself silly with cucina per. My kind of food, my kind of eating, and definitely my kind of trip, Harry's wife. Well, forget about all of that flatulent nonsense. I just saw the word limoncello. And if you want to start your weekend with something rather amusing, bang into YouTube the following. British man tasting homemade limoncello, or something to that effect. I guarantee that you will find yourself entertained by what you see there, almost as entertaining as listening to your glorious narrator. Well, we survived another episode, didn't we, Tudorites? So very well done, and if you can bear it, join me next time as we take a wander through the filth and nonsense that we find in the Stig. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.